Um, yes, Annie Boo has joined us. Yes, the topic tonight will be we'll be discussing Obia and bad word. In recent time, um, Obia was dragged before the practices of Obia was dragged before the court for the Obia Act to be repealed. Now it is the Bad Word Act. Now it is before the courts for repellents. Now tonight I have a very special guest. Could you please, on the phone line, introduce yourself to the fast growing audience that we have here, please?
Judy Hilton
Ju-
and Elvin
Judy Hilton Grant. Just for a moment here. Annie Boo. Annie Boo,
Yes.
did you heard the lady's name?
No.
I just want to know if you're hearing her clearly.
Yeah, may I hear her?
Okay. What's her name?
I never catch your name.
Judy Hilton Grant. Grant. All right. And Judy, lots of talk are going on today about the legitimacy of Obia. We are gonna deal with them one by one, right? Could you please tell us your definition of Obia? And yes, give us the definition, then we ask you the purpose.
the old people, that is the old generation gone long time. Their definition of phobia is God Almighty through the trees. And men like Moses and Jesus Christ were considered phobia people because of what they were capable to do under the authority of the Almighty. So it means then, if our ancestors look at it like that, sorry about that, we have an interruption here. Okay, so what happened is that our ancestors look at Obia connecting us to the trees because the closest thing to humanity is the trees, although the Eurocentric people taught us that it was the dog. Dog fight and quarrel. Tree gives us oxygen, food, covering, health is everywhere. So the ancestors look at trees as the closest thing to humanity. Therefore, when someone was ill, the older man would give them bush, as they were called the bush doctor in the community, or the Obia man. And when you go to such a person, they will look at you, dissect what happened to you, and give you some bush to go and boil and drink. And once you drink that bush, you don't have to go back to him because you're healed. And this is my personal experience with Obia. Another thing, people who practice Obia live good. Your child is my child is your child. a child would not be left to the elements of society because every eye was on that child. And it's the African tradition that we all live like that. Today that doesn't practice anymore because that part of our relationship has moved and shifted because everybody gone Eurocentric. And then the Afrocentric behavior where your child is mine and mine is yours is no longer practiced. And that was considered phobia as well because you put each other. The behavior is that if somebody kill a cow, everybody in the community would get peace at that time. And the money was shifted. And shifting up one another was more prevalent at that time coming up.
Hold on there, Judy. Hold on, Judy. I would want to know then, and I'm quite sure my viewers and listeners would love to know, how then Obeah is seen as a demon or demonic and as a bad thing. If Obeah, as you have said it, is such of a good thing in the African culture, how does it becomes a demon, or where does that comes from?
All right. From the ancestors' point of view, is that the slave masters did not want people to live with. They did not like unity. And they do all kinds of things to divide people. So as the time goes on, right up till when voting starts, people were living good all the way coming up. Until the division came, and people no longer live together in unity as how they're supposed to live. And I think it has a political destruction, dividing people at that time. But before that, people were living good. Now, I do not understand how, because the Bible speaks about witchcraft. So what they did is, I was told that the Pope was the one who put Obeah in prison or under lock and key, as if it was witchcraft. But witchcraft and Obeah are two different things. And what the churches do not understand, and they are standing against Obeah because they mix Obeah with witchcraft and sorcery. Witchcraft deal with something else totally different. Witchcraft would use powder and kill people. They would divide people. And so, as a matter of fact, bad mind was never there in those days. Because bad mind is witchcraft. Anything that separates people in those days were considered witchcraft. People never walk and thief from people until you find the people them coming here from overseas with the sims that they put in and those places are hide and have this kind of thing with all kind of thieving people, cowboy show and all those kind of things. People never go around and not thief people things before them kind of stuff start coming here.
So hold on. I think I missed something there. The difference between witchcraft and Obeah. Yes. I would want you to explain the difference between witchcraft.
Brother.
One love.
Bruh.
Yes. Donald.
Why do you do witchcraft, brother?
Hold on, Judy.
Why do you do witchcraft, brother?
I want to understand you. Good evening, sir.
Why
Um,
do you do witchcraft,
we,
brother?
we are discussing the legitimacy of witchcraft, obia, and bad word. Right?
You do witchcraft, brother.
Okay. I will just ask you then to catch on to the conversation, right? As we go along, then you can ask a legitimate question. All right?
You do witchcraft, brother.
No, I work
Yes, you
obia.
do, brother.
I work obia.
This is evil, man.
Right? It's not a joke program I am running. I'm telling you, I'm trying to
Evil,
make
man.
sure
Bad man.
my Jamaican counterpart are fully aware of their culture. You get me? This is not a joke program. You understand me?
Evil.
All right. Let my guest on the phone continue her conversation. And if it is not,
Okay.
then we could have a good evening. Yes, Judy. Yeah.
Alright. So witchcraft has to do with bad mind. Witchcraft divide us. Witchcraft make you talk bad things against people and hold them down because I was not aware that the slave master used words of evil like rude and bad. All those are considered curse words. So when you
I don't wish to go over to the bad word as yet. I want to get my audience fully aware of what obia and witchcraft, the difference, where they were derived from, as you have rightly said, that witchcraft it brings forth envy, bad mind, and yes, I would in agreement with you, right? But I'm looking at the struggles for supremacy with both witchcraft and obia, right? And why obia have been demonized? Is it because it is of the African tradition? And while we were colonized, then remember we were forced to use to all that of our colonial master has to offer us, including languages and culture and practices. They want to change us from everything and from what we use to repel, where we call spells. It would have been obia, which would have been come from the vineyard, the medicine, the bush, as when they used to call them bush doctor. As a young man growing up, right, in the 60s and the 70s, that's how I heard them call them bush doctor. Now they call them herbalists. So who then demonize these people? Who then demonizes obia, right? And if it is not the bush, what is the alternative to get people better?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, what has been practiced and still practiced, because people still find the bushman them up in the hills go get medicine from. But they don't like to discuss it because they don't want to be put in prison. Because when you talk to the older people, them, me don't want to touch that because me don't want nobody lock me up.
All right, hold on. Somebody's in the chat probably say what you never probably want to say. Big pharmacy. What is that critical? yeah. Yes, it is the pharmaceutical people that demonized Obia, right? Yeah,
What
yeah,
I would
yeah,
say,
because if Obia were allowed to practice in its form, the pharmacists them wouldn't have a job, right? Yeah.
but before the pharmacies, they were called dispensers. And these dispensers would have their liquor shops. And people would go there and the dispenser mix the medicine using the bush and give it to people to heal them just the same. Things like artificial, I'm not calling good, were used in the mold of babies to strengthen the mold. And that came from the dispenser. Epsom salt, Roman salt, all these things were used by a dispenser to help the bush as well. So when the Pope came to Jamaica and made the law on Obia, you are correct in that they make it a pharmaceutical thing that they build their pharmacies of these some of the bushes, But what they do, you have a man who was called a botanist.
Hold your thoughts, Judy. Hold your thoughts. Let I welcome Good DM.
We want to leave you with these timeless words from
Go ahead. Your time.
Yo, King.
Hold on.
Yo, King. Where go on?
Me there now.
Eh.
All right. He disappeared. He did not stay on. Right. I'm just trying to get his voice up. It was very low. Yes, Judy, you can continue now.
Alright. So what I was informed, because I started questioning people. Okay, the people in Maroon Town, the Maroons,
Yes.
they practice what is called Obia. And the behavior, because you don't have war in a Maroon Town unless you got to go fast to them. People live good, they work together, then shut down them, just like what used to happen when I was a little girl coming up. You don't have people fighting and jumping people's fence. Because if you see a man up on a tree, you come and biscuit in. Morning, me pitney, what happened now? I see two man up on a tree, and I beg you one. Come pick you and give me one now. All that is Obia. You understand? Those are the points of Obia.
I think I do believe from a deeper context, to where it reached now in Jamaica, and when we look at Haiti with voodoos, when we look at what the Indians are doing out here and when we look at the churches, right? Now, we call it, the church call it deliverance, right? So people would have gone to the church to get delivered, right? Or they would have gone to the pharmacy to get to get rid of whatsoever is affecting them, spiritually or physically, right? So it is in that context I want the discussion, right, to give the awareness to people who would have probably go to church, right, and do not even realize that the word deliverance and obia, right, are somehow brothers and sisters. Now, in everything, it can turn to the other side. So you have negative and positive. But you are only speaking of the positiveness of obia. Could you tell us now the negative part of obia?
Well, to me, the word obia in Jamaica has not been understood by ministers of religion or anybody like that, because when you mention the word obia, everybody says a witchcraft.
Yes.
The Bible talks about witchcraft and sorcery, and what they do is try to mix obia with witchcraft and call it obia. So all the negatives is put on the word obia instead of the witchcraft and sorcery that the Bible speaks about.
What is divination?
Huh?
What is divination?
I don't understand that word.
Oh, all right, go ahead and pause that question.
All right. Witchcraft will kill and murder and all of those kind of things.
Obia don't do that.
Obia don't do such things. You understand? They try to practice oil. Well, I shouldn't say the church. Denominationalism practice praying over oil and those kind of things. And what it's going to do to you. They are practicing obia.
All right. That leads me to this question. During the election campaign and in the heights of the school bus saga, we have seen where the Minister of Transport were actually washing down the buses with substances look like white rum. What that ritual is called?
That do sound like witchcraft to me. Because what the Indians and the Chinese and those persons carry in Jamaica, they came in is what is called black science. And the church is hypocrisy, the denomination is hypocrisy. They don't see what the Indians and those persons are doing as witchcraft. And they don't talk about the government that allow these things to be in our country.
Right.
This is fine us. You understand? They don't do that. Yes. There are things that are happening in the country right now. That is witchcraft to the highest level. And the church or the denomination sit down and allow these things to happen. And they don't say anything. And they are targeting obia, which is our thing from Africa. And our ancestors living. I can tell you,
May I ask you this question? Are you an obia woman?
No. I am not an obia woman because I cannot give the kind of medical thing as how the ancestors used to do it.
But you can't read me up.
What?
But you can't read me up.
Me don't know about video. I know if you have praying foot, My ancestor used Epsom salt and they call the bush now. The bush there's a tree that then beat it and put it on the foot in order to bring it back to normal. Now these are things that I would call obeah because that is what my ancestors used. If you fall down and lick your chest and you have bleeding in your chest, my ancestor would say, okay, use some tuna. And you're going to mix the tuna now with cream soda. Beat it up together and drink it. And that can stop the bleeding in the chest. And it's stopping no time. So those things they can call me obeah woman because they tell people them something.
Of course she's a obeah woman. You're a obeah woman. You don't want to accept your name. You're an obeah woman and you should be proud of your name. Because you're a true African, right? So you are dodging behind the bush of your profession. I am an obeah man. And I would love to even be more stronger in helping people out of their disasters, right? Right? In letting them well again, repelling those demons that they have set up on them through the works of witchcraft and sorcery. So I ain't gonna hide that I'm an obeah man, right? When Jesus Christ walks earth, he patterned the ground and rub it in the dirt and people were healed. I think many people are forgetting all those things while they are looking at obeah. They are so naive and so brainwashed that the things that is good for them, they turn their back on it. They turn their back on the good things, that nature provides for them. And they would prefer to uphold everything that is artificial, right? The artificial things, but the natural things, nature things, they turn their back on it and allow other nation to demonize the things that is good for us because they want us to depend on them. That Hannibal.
You are correct because the biggest witchcraft in our country today is artificial intelligence. Nothing bigger than that in here.
They are not going to tell you that. They are not going to agree with you. They are going to say that woman is bad influence, right? That is the first thing they're gonna say, right? And because the young people are so cocained by this artificial intelligence, they do not even take the difference between natural intelligence and artificial intelligence. No.
From day one, when I heard that those things were coming into Jamaica, I go back to the scripture where God said, no make nothing look like for me, no make nothing like that. And when they came, when it was coming in, I was talking to my husband. I said, listen to me. This is coming to mash up black people picnic and brain. That's what it does. And see, teachers are now saying it because of these demonic forces coming through these tablets and forth. The picnic them not bright anymore.
Now, of course, the brain got lazy. I developed a hatred now for the social network because it has been bombarded with pure artificial things. And you see, a natural life like this, that dealing with natural things, we have on for nearly half an hour now, and we got only showing 7 likes. That people are so cocaine with artificial intelligence that they're showing you that we don't like natural things. A live streaming that is speaking truth and natural things must not get any support, right? You get me what I'm saying? To how artificial intelligence is entrenched in the people, right? In the people's mind, right? But later on down the road, they're gonna see what their ending will be if they continue to just foster their belief in artificial intelligence. I do believe that everyone should learn it, but don't throw away the natural intelligence. The intelligence between that is to balance both artificial intelligence and the natural intelligence. Don't throw natural intelligence away. Don't. But to how they are pushing it on you is as if they want you to forget natural NI and just take on AI for the future.
Well, that is a very sad situation because, let me tell you, we have to go back to earth, you know. I remember when certain people get sick, you have to dig out a hole in the ground and put them inside of it and cover them with the body and leave it there for a while. And when you take out those persons, they were healed. That is obvious. A child who do not play in the dirt is being growing up. Why? Because when you play in the dirt as a child, you have become stronger, and your resistance to illness is much stronger than what is happening to our society today. We don't want barefoot anymore. Them don't play in the dirt anymore. And once a while now, the government allows China man to come in here, putting up all these high-rise buildings. So when you put the picnic, them up, they start to live. When they don't, that's where them are going to play. So all these are nonsense. Should never be in our country.
Speak your mind, mother, speak. Speak. And I said to speak. This has nothing to do with politics. This has nothing to do with politics except to say government should take more responsibility in keeping our African culture instead of really tacking towards the European culture, our colonizers' culture. I think we should be taking leaves out of Burkina Faso, right? Abraham Traoré. That's where we should try and friend that guy, right here. That man there, that president here, right? We should try and make him more a friend of us more than an enemy to us.
Well, I don't believe he's an enemy. Because from day one, I start watching this youth, and him coming just like the grandfather. Yeah, me tell you, the man will buckle things.
But you're not speaking. You cannot speak for Jamaica. For many who doesn't know from whence they came, many people have this hatred and scorn for Africa because of the brainwashed education that they would have received. So they grow up with that hatred for Africa and Africans and use them, laugh at them, right? Take them for some stupid fools, right? Yes.
Well, I was never like that.
I don't I don't want you to just take yourself out while we are talking on a national level, right? Right? Well, we know that you were not like that, but I am speaking on a wider perspective, how to edify, how to get the upcoming generation to believe more in their roots, right? To make them believe in their roots even more than showing them this whole lot of things that has nothing to do with their culture, with artificial intelligence. Now, Africa uphold nature, and we should be pushing the natural things more than the artificial things, the official things more than the artificial things.
But the first thing, people here to be black. I wrote a song for the children, and I'm not having it. I want to play it in it says, I am black, I am strong, I can shine like gold. I am sweet and I'm nice, and so are you. Like a star I can twinkle, like a bird I can sing, and so I live and learn and glitter like gold. The church people attack me. What do you do when white people come? I said, I'm in a business with them because you will sing whiter than a snow I want to be. So what do you do when the black people is in that audience? People don't work, they don't like the word black. And the church houses are part of it because them give you angel and angel is black. When these angels are fallen angels, them all eat blood all now. And they don't read Genesis 6. That tells you how these people came.
What did it say in Genesis 6? That would tell you how the white people came along.
It tells you that the black man, remember, God made man from the dirt. The black man lets the woman when him have and go have sex with these people. They don't call them fallen angels in that scripture. But once you read it, you will understand that is a fallen angel, because some Bible will say God repented that he made human because human go and live with them. And basically, the same thing happened to our black slave who was here when Annie Palmer wanted them to have sex back and front, and she was a witch, a white witch. So to me, all of these white people are witches who came to earth, mix up with man, and become like humans. These people are not satisfied with nothing. Look at what is happening with Burkina Faso and the African people and Trump and these people.
Hold on. Elaborate a little more on the fallen angels and how they impregnate the earthly mothers, and they bring forth giants, right? the dynasty of the giants. It's because they have sex with the mothers down here, right? And they are the one that bring in the sex, that brutal brand of sex from behind that really suggests disrespect, scorn, and hatred, right? That's why men today, human being today, adapt those principles and using it as style, just as how they adapt. Someone was talking about bleaching, right, in the chat, right? Someone who doesn't know their color is the same way they bleach but do not know the essence of bleaching or why they bleach. So same way the sexual position from behind, they followed it, they're doing it, but they do not know the essence of it.
But to me, it started right back down there. And when the human being, and God said it repented him that he made human being, and shortened the life of the black man, the human, shortened their life. And to me, when I was in the world, the Indian behaved the same way, like the Chinese and the white people, all of them behave the same way, wanting the world, the earth is value. They don't value me as a human being. They don't value one another. They value the wealth of the earth instead of the human being. And they will kill you to get the earth apart. And our children now, getting up, do not understand who they are.
True.
That's the reason why
True.
we call them king and priest.
That's true. Continue.
They don't understand who they are. And we have to now go all around now and reach our children that one, you are the light of the world. That's what Jesus said. You are not only light, you are salt. Salt is flavor. So you are the flavor of the earth by the words you speak. And we have to try and do that for every child, because our same old people then call them generation a viper, or them calling them kids. And God not have me that you should viper, not both kids. Because when you become a kid, you're going to turn good. God not have no use for you in kingdom. So these are things that come from these same people that God vexed with man for God vexed with. And start upset God in every way. So we have to start helping the children know who them is. So you can use their program to call them light. Kings and queens.
Yeah, we are the. Yeah, now remember, it is light and darkness. And if you are in darkness, you will stumble. As soon as you come in the light, you will be able to see where you are going. So you'll go along. So light should be the one that most people clamoring for. But people prefer the dark, because whatsoever they're doing, it is not, they are not to be seen, because they're in hiding what they are doing. And it is the same thing when it come on to sexual activities, right? The eye break out the light, and the eye contact must be made when human beings are having sex, right? For transparency and legitimacy, if I'm calling the word right? So you're supposed to be looking at the person from a positive standpoint, and you're making your children, if you want them to become if you want to get positive children, right? You don't want to get children in the dark. And when those children are out of your sight, they display the dark world that they are in, and they becomes all kind of different negative forces in the society. Sometimes some children do some things that you wonder, right? Where did it come from? But many people not remembering that is how they were conceived. They were conceived in the dark without that positiveness of the eye contact.
Well, the point is that, and back to the church people, them. These denominations go around and call the people them up. They call them all kind of something. And put curse on them. Because they learned the curse from the same white people them who were the slave masters. And they know as well. So what we do as black people is each one teach one how to live. Because I've spoken to thousands of persons, and when I said to them, did you know that Jesus said you are the light of the world? They would say, me? Say, yes. Not only that, guess what? You are the flavor of the earth too. He said, flavor, I say yes. Me, I say yes. Because Jesus said you are salt, and salt is flavor. And he also said, don't make it too salty. So when it's too salty, you become a salsa. Salsa rock across one another. That's how it is. Speak nice things to one another. And for each other. And I go back to them and I say, listen, that's why we have to save the people, them and stop call them kids. But
Good.
God have no place in our voice.
Good. Yes.
We have to teach.
And yes, yes, we must develop the practices of stop calling our children kids. Right? I've been saying that long time ago, and just as I was saying about Backshot, it is the same way they laugh at me to scorn and said, hey, every woman love Backshot. Everybody call them children kids. I just want to let you know that not because everybody is saying kids, it is right. Right? Remember the good Lord teaches that it is many are called, but only a few are chosen. Right? Remember the good Lord said, go through the narrow gate, because the gate to destruction is wide, and many find it. But the gate to righteousness is narrow, right? And very few find it. Because this life is so rich, that's why few people are in it, because it is positive. That's why only few are on it. This is one of the most blessing moments on the internet right now, but only few people find it. This rich discussion that we are having. Remember, don't call your children kids. They are not good, right?
First thing that God say are salt.
Yes.
And salt is flavor. That means every child born on earth is the flavor of the earth. And
Yeah.
he said, guess what? That light. And guess what? Everything that God made on earth is made with light. Because the first thing that he made in Genesis was light. And with that light, he made light. He made stone, he made tree, he made down to the very dirt. Has light and salt in there.
All right, Judy. Judy, we're going to leave that point there, and we're going to move on to the final topic. Yes, we're going to touch a little, and no bad words.
Well, the truth and in fact, according to my ancestor, no word no bad. The Pope came on here, well, these same people heard about words like bumbo. The word bumbo refers to the bamboo tree. Now, how can a tree become bad word? What used to happen? The ancestors used to tear off the skin. The slaves used to tear off the skin after the bamboo tree, and that is called cloth. Like how your skin your man cloth, the skin off of the bamboo tree is also called bumbo, and the skin is called cloth. So the cloth now is cloth after the bumbo, which is the bamboo tree. They tear it off and tie up yam and take to them yard. When them go home and the master wanted the name of the tree, they don't tell them to beat them and kill them. So the alive one, those who are alive, the man who dead, they will cut off a piece of his garment and roll up the garment in their blood, put it on a stick and appease it, point it up in the air for the death of the man. And that is what is called blood clot.
Rascal now. Rascal now.
Oh, ras is a string that looks like wool. The Africans brought it here. When the slave cut was never open. When a slave gets a cut, they would sew the ras into the cloth and tie over the cut. And that is called Rasta. And the word Ras means victory. There is victory over sore.
Yeah, yes, it also means cap. Your head. Ras also mean your head. So it means victory as well.
Right.
So what we use it in different contexts. Yes, someone is saying that and it is according to the teaching that we get that the words are, right? When Jesus walks earth, Jesus did curse, and at one stage I can tell you where Jesus cursed bad word, right? When he was, I think he was coming across Lake Galilee, and he was hungry, right? And you see, like when we are frustrated and we would say bumbleclad, it is the same way when Jesus was frustrated, looked at the fig tree and there was no fig on it. And in his frustration, he said, you shall not bear any more fruit, right? That's a curse word. Curse words are bad word, right? You shall not bear any more fruit. And you, Miss Grant, what did Peter said to Jesus the next day when he passed it by? Do you remember?
No.
He said, Rabbi, the tree that you cursed is dried up to the ground, right? So, right? So, bad word.
Because when bumbo cloth is used out of turn for the bamboo tree, then dead is. It's killing, it's been dead, it's killed. Because it's not supposed to be used as a curse word against anybody or anything.
No, but bumbo cloth couldn't be a curse word.
No, it's not.
The bumbo cloth is an expressive word, expressing yourself. But when you deliberately say, just as you speak earlier, when you're calling the children, children of vipers, a bad word you tell you, picnic. When you call them children of vipers, right? On a dirty pooper, a bad word and I tell you the picnic, right?
Exactly.
Right?
So the bamboo tree there, you cannot use the word out of turn. As a matter of fact, you must use bumbo cloth decently.
Yes.
Because out of turn, the bamboo tree, them are dead out. And I wonder how them are dead. And the same thing with blood clot. Once you use it out of turn, the black man, them are dead.
I'm not too convinced of that. I think why most of our tree dying out, our most important tree, is because of their subtle way of getting rid of our strength, right? Because remember then they said they must spray ganja and spray the coconut tree and the banana tree. Remember the whole heap of banana where the dark Portland, right? When you see them about them a spray mosquito and all of them sitting there and the tree them a kill out, right? Diplomatically.
And then start spray weed too.
Yeah, of course. Of course. But people do not know those things, or who knew those things are afraid to speak those things because they want to be on Babylon's good side. They want to be on their good side, right? I rather to be unpopular more than seen. My generation, the coming generation, going down the drain. Because that's the reason why I take the stance that I took to be an advocate for them and let them fully aware of what is good for them and what is not good for them, right? I've been...
in all of this, the biggest poison in this country
Yes, man. What? What is it? Is what? Come on, say that again.
I said the biggest poison in this country is the poison of division.
And that is orchestrated. Hold on. And that is orchestrated by religions.
Not only by religion, because if you're fitting the woman, you behave like the woman fitting them better than the one them will go at Tivoli. So this division has to be moved from there and they have equality.
Then PMP and JLP, I see them thing. Gaza and Gully, right? I see them thing, right? Homosexual and Jamaica is hugely divided, in many different pieces, right? Because homosexual, you have straight people now, you have lean people, right? So you are right, divisions, right? And what did God said about a nation that is divided? He said a nation that is divided must crumble. That's why you see Jamaica is like this today, right?
Because this poisonous thing in here, which is division, has been embedded from the baby right up. We have to move this division and put in equality. That means to say, I don't mean live down there and they go down to live. Are you up a university in a college to live? You know better than me, all are we equal? Because me I think the dirt to help you to live too. See what I'm saying? So we have to get this in school and everywhere. I wrote a song some years ago. Every song that I wrote, the Holy Spirit guide me to write it. It said, all men are equal in the sight of God. No man is better no matter what he has. The vanities of the earth is only for a time. Don't show off yourself to your neighbor. Be kind.
I want you to use that as your wrap up, because we will end this live at 8:45. Yes. So I want your last thought in where do we go from here?
Well, each one teach one. Go into the church, go tell them say they must stop fight Obia. All of we can do it. And make them stop because they are the ones that are fighting Obia. And make a witchcraft all about the place. A man can't come in your country. With the witchcraft thing. And put up my cannon in the system. In here, I start to treat them and them something. And the church will see that. But every time them hear about anything, them say I would. One man come and talk about say what? Him got Spanish song of the headless water walk. Who better not both headless? I witchcraft with that.
All right. The powers that be is telling you that it is time to wrap up. So my parting shot is a nation that knew from whence it came can never be enslaved. And it's time we know put up a resistance against certain teachings that they are now carrying into us, and subtly, diplomatically bringing in with a force. I want you all to remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I want you all to remember Daniel. That they did not bow to the pressure of the Persian government. Neither you should be bowing to any government, a human government, but make sure you're following the order of nature, right?
And I think Marcus Garvey never did bow.
No, huh? No, they never. A lots of them never did bow. Rosa Parks never did bow, right? Rosa Parks and said me now bow, and I Tychicus Reginald Samuel Martin not bowing. Me say a man to a woman and a woman to a man. I said, ladies, stop sell sex. Man, stop buy sex, right? I'm trying to let you know that from a man approach you, want to buy you, a diss him, diss you. And from a woman decided to exchange sex for money, it is disrespect. While that man and that woman is in conversation, speak relationship. Speak responsibility, not an exchange of your body for materialism.
And the vulgarity when the man naked man and let the man the gear and the guitar around the place, then think that it's stop. And not
On social media, I knew how the private parts of a woman looks like. When I was a lad, and when we want to get rude, we have to travel with a piece of glass, drop it, then tie the pants and tights never so prevalent. So we used to drop glass at the woman them feet to see their underwear. Now you can go on the internet on your cell phone, and as you scroll, you saw the woman's private part showing, saying, what some of them I'll tell you good morning, good evening, right? Yes, that's how with the morals had broken down. Michigan and Smiley, remember your song. The social barriers broke down in a one love jam down. This is where we're leaving you this evening, right? We thank you for having us.
I want the life to go far and wide.
Yeah? This will be posted back on YouTube, so you can look back on this on YouTube, right? Probably tomorrow or so on. When this is finished, I will edit, and I don't think there much to be edited because the raw truth is there, and that's what we want. Whatsoever, that's why I don't make it much longer, but it will be rich. Stay tuned for more discussion like this. Hope you join it next time and give it better support. Argument done. All right, Judy.
All right.
Bless.
Bye-bye.